In the annals of literature, no one wrote with such vast scope, such piercing psychological truth, or such moral agony. He was born an aristocrat, but died an ascetic. He wrote of war and peace, but struggled ceaselessly with himself. This is the story of Count Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy, known simply as Leo Tolstoy. Born in 1828, into one of Russia's wealthiest noble families, young Leo was a complex mixture of privilege and restlessness. His early life was characterized by gambling debts, an appetite for excess, and a perpetual sense of spiritual searching. He was brilliant, but deeply dissatisfied with the superficiality of high society. His directionless existence was dramatically interrupted when he joined the army, serving in the Crimean War. This experience, witnessing death and the brutal absurdity of conflict firsthand, would forge the core of his philosophical and literary identity. The chaos of war was the perfect crucible for the young, tormented writer. After leaving the army, Tolstoy returned to his estate, Yasnaya Polyana, determined to find purpose. He married Sofia Andreevna Bears, or Sonia, who would become his tireless copyist, editor, and the mother of his 13 children. It was in this period of domestic stability that his monumental work began. In 1869, he finished War and Peace. It was an epic unlike any other, weaving together the intimate lives of 5 aristocratic families with the vast, brutal sweep of Napoleon's invasion of Russia. Tolstoy didn't just tell a story. He challenged the very nature of history, fate, and free will. He followed this in 1877 with Anna Karenina, a tragedy that explored adultery, passion, and the hypocrisies of Russian society with profound realism. He was dissecting the human condition, revealing the inner lives of his characters with an honesty that remains breathtaking. At the height of his literary fame, Tolstoy was universally hailed as the greatest novelist of his age. He had achieved everything a writer could dream of, yet inside, a spiritual crisis was brewing. Tolstoy was a man tormented by his own success. He was a millionaire writing about the evils of wealth. He was a spiritual seeker, living a life of material comfort. He felt his great works were empty distractions from the only thing that mattered, living a truly moral life. This profound crisis led him to a radical religious conversion. He rejected the institutional church, denounced private property, and adopted an extreme form of Christian anarchism and pacifism. He demanded a life of manual labor, dressed in peasant clothes, and vowed to live as simply as possible. His new philosophy, known as Tolstoyism, attracted disciples from around the world. He wrote philosophical treatises like The Kingdom of God is Within You, which directly inspired figures like Mahatma Gandhi and influenced the non-violent movements of the 20th century. The Count had become a peasant, but this spiritual rebirth created an agonizing rift at home. The very family whose stability had allowed him to write his masterpieces now struggled to cope with his relentless moral demands and his desire to give away their fortune. The final decades of Tolstoy's life were marked by intense, painful conflict with his wife, Sonia, largely centered on the fate of his copyrights. She wanted the money for the children. He wanted the works to be freely available to the world. Their home, Yasnaya Polyana, became a battleground between love and ideology. In October 1910, at the age of 82, the contradiction became too much to bear. In a final, desperate act of moral integrity, Tolstoy secretly left his estate in the middle of the night, renouncing his wealth and his family life to live out his days in true asceticism. His departure was not quiet. It became a global media sensation. The world watched in fascination as the great lion of literature finally fled his gilded cage. He traveled for 10 days before collapsing from pneumonia at a remote train station. Surrounded by doctors, journalists, and a conflicted family, the great contradiction finally ended. Tolstoy was perhaps the only writer in history whose life became as influential as his art. He proved that genius is often inseparable from profound internal struggle. His novels teach us about love, war, and the nature of happiness. His life teaches us about the terrible price of conscience. He is the literary giant who laid the groundwork for modern realism and the moral philosopher who inspired a century of peaceful resistance. Leo Tolstoy's greatest legacy isn't just the words on the page, but the relentless, agonizing journey he took to discover how to truly live. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of historical giants. See you next time.